I don't believe in work-life balance in the sense balance is subjective, right? What's balance for me is not balance for you, or what's balance for someone else is not balance for me. That doesn't mean that one shouldn't achieve whatever that subjective balance for themselves is, right? So you have this esoteric version of your sense of balance,
right,
and you want to achieve that balance,
right.
Now the thing with getting things done is you have to sort of sometimes go to the extremes,
okay,
right, in order to make those things possible. For example, let's say we're doing a new project.
All right.
Those days and those months or those years, or let's say we started a new business, or someone's starting a new business and someone's starting a new an artist is starting a new YouTube channel. They want to put out content, that means they're putting out things every week,
okay,
right? And when they're starting something new, or when they're working on something, a new project, they have to go all in on it sometimes. That means going to sort of that, not to the extreme of the extremes, but to pretty close to the extreme, so that they can actually get that thing started.
Okay.
Right. And when you do that, the other parts of your life will lag. You won't be going to the gym as often, or you won't be, you won't be spending much time with your family. You won't be doing some of that passion projects or side hobbies that you used to have. You won't be able to do that, but that is a necessary sacrifice that you sort of make in order to make one thing possible. So now you might be asking, so balance is never possible?
Yeah.
It is possible, but you have to think of it like a different way. Instead of thinking of work-life balance, you can think of it like work-life counterbalance. Yeah, so I got this idea when I was reading one of my favorite books ever, which is a book I often give as a gift to other people, which is called The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. That's the name of the book, The One Thing. Okay. Right? And that guy, so who the Gary Keller, I think is he runs one of the largest real estate companies, so what do you call those things in America or something like that, right? And he dispels some of the myths that people hold in terms of work and life, which is work-life balance is one of the esoteric myths that people hold, in the sense it's not possible all the time. Sometimes you're sort of in the middle, right, in some parts of your life. Sometimes in some parts of your life you're on the extremes, or some parts of your life you're sort of right of middle or left of middle. You get the idea. You're sort of all over the place. Yeah. So what you do is you try to counterbalance it. You need to sort of think of it like a seesaw. Let's say you start a new project, and it's a 1.5 year long project, right? Yeah. You dedicate all your time and effort and thing to it.
Story of your life.
Story of my life, right? And what happens is everything else falls apart. For example, when I started drawing camp, right, as a project, right, it's 1.5 years long, and it's taking every single ounce of my energy right now, which means my YouTube has fallen off. I'm not drawing for fun as much as I used to. I'm not doing other projects as much as I want to. I'm not doing pretty much anything else. And some days I go home very late. Right. Some days some weeks it's just me trying to get through the bloody week because it's hard. You guys know, right? Yeah. Right. So that's how it is.
You didn't expect it to go this long, did you?
No. It's pretty.
You did? You did have a vision on it?
Yeah, 1.5 years. I need to put my work in for 1.5 years. Now the thing is, right? So I do these overall counterbalances. So after 1.5 years, I can actually focus on other things. Once this project is done, I can go and actually do. That's the plan. After this thing is done, for the 6 to 8 months or 12 months, what I'm going to do is I'm going to counterbalance myself by focusing more on myself. That's when I'll work out more, spend more time with the family, spend less time at work for a couple of months, do other projects that's completely different. So I'm counterbalancing, right? Sort of like a seesaw. But also in a span of a week, I counterbalance, or in a span of a month, we shoot drawing camp for 2 to 3 weeks a month. Right? And then for the other 2 or 3 weeks, 2 weeks essentially, or 1 to 2 weeks, we do completely something else, right? We just don't even think about the thing. That is how you get things done.
I see what you're trying to do. Like you are I wouldn't say you're not aiming for work-life balance. I feel like you're just putting it in a more like a long-term
macro,
process, right?
macro
Right.
work-life balance.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to seek balance on the day-to-day, we're sort of trying to seek balance on the years.
Got it.
That's at least that's what I've learned.
I've never seen anyone do that.
A lot of
or
people
even
do that,
aim for
actually.
it.
I mean, I learned this from like these guys, right? Gary Keller
Oh.
and then Gary Vee. You know, Gary Vee used to say this thing. You know, work-life balance is like, you know, what do you mean by work-life balance?
Yeah.
I mean, for example, for like a swimmer like Michael Phelps, right? He needs to put in 10 hours a day. He used to be in like 4 to 6 hours a day for 500 days in a row in the water, right? Michael Phelps, for those who don't know, one of the greatest Olympians of all time, right? Won God knows how many gold medals in the Olympics, right? And you know, he's all about like, you know what? In that part of my life, I have to put in the work in that particular area, and that means if other things falls off, you need to sort of maintain it, and you don't let your your wife run away and your kids say bye bye to you.
Just everything gone.
you gotta maintain that, you know, some semblance
sense of balance.
Yeah, but not like too. You need to talk to your family. You know, I talk to my mom and I tell her, you know what, I might not spend as much time with you till December. That's how it's going to be. That's the price we paid for, and that's the sacrifice we have to make to get this little thing done, and the sacrifice is worth it, right? And then with YouTube, I need to tell my folks, right, the audience is like, you know what, I may not be uploading as much, and that is the sacrifice that I'm willing to make, because, you know, that's worth it. So that is the thing with work-life balance.